Good day, everyone. Today, we will discuss about the Biodiversity Assessment and Monitoring System, which is the BAMS, and the Resources Inventory Techniques. So, biodiversity assessment and monitoring involves the systematic observation, measurements, and analysis of biological diversity in various ecosystems over time. It focuses on understanding species, richness, populations dynamics, genetic variation, and ecosystem health to inform conservation and sustainable management efforts. So, ang BAM is para ma-track ang mga plants, animals, and ecosystem in a particular area over time. So, a little bit, so anong kinahanglan man to na siya buhaton? Because we need to understand things like sila ka species ang naa dito sa place, or ang sa ilang gibuhat, or sa ilang about sa ilang mga interaction, and also nitaas ba ang ilahang numbers or nibaba ba ilahang numbers sa mga species, and kung ang environment ba is healthy pa ba gihapon. And with that info, we can make better decisions to protect nature and manage resources in a sustainable way. So, a little bit of history in BAMS. So, in 1970s to 1980s, the early roots. So, the UN started talking about in environment seriously. And then in 1990s, the ideas of conservation biology came up. And then in 1992, during the Rio Earth Summit, countries signed an agreement called CBD, promising to monitor biodiversity, that when BAMS really got going in a more originated way. So next is the Biodiversity Assessment and Monitoring, the BAMS. So it plays a pivotal role in the management of protected areas by providing scientific data to support conservation, planning, management, effectiveness evaluation, and adaptive management strategies. So BAM helps us manage protected areas like national parks. It gives scientists and conservationists real data to plan and make a better decision. So there are 4 components of BAMS. The first is the Flora and Fauna Survey. It is a systematic collection of data on plant and animal species, including their abundance distribution and conservation status. So when we say in the flora and fauna, this is just counting and checking where plants and animals are, how many of them and are there, and if they're in danger or doing fine. Then the second is the habitat and ecosystem assessment. The evaluation of the quality, existence, and function of various habitats and ecosystems which support understanding and ecological integrity and resilience. So here in habitat and ecosystem assessment, so i-check na to og healthy pa ba ang environment, og ang forest ba is dako pa ba or ninggamay na, og clean pa ba ang water or hugaw na, og unsay dapat buhaton sa nature para ma-conserve diri sa assessment sa habitat and ecosystem makita ang mga information. And then third is the threats monitoring, identification and tracking of threats such as illegal logging, poaching, invasive species, pollution, and climate change effects. So in the third is tanaw na to diri ang mga bad stuff like mga illegal logging, mga poaching, pollution, and invasive species nga makadaot sa ecosystem. Then last is the community participation and citizen science. So involving local community and volunteers in biodiversity monitoring efforts to increase data collection capacity, fosters stewardship, and integrated traditional ecological knowledge. So local people help in collecting data. This is awesome because it builds awareness, make data collection easier, and respect local knowledge. And now let's talk about the methodologies used in BAM. So actually, first of now let's talk about how we actually do all this monitoring. So first is the remote sensing and GIS mapping. Use of satellite imagery and geospatial tools to monitor land cover, change, habitat fragmentation, and other large-scale environmental patterns. So it will use satellite and maps to look at land from above. So kinahanglan nato siya og mga satellite para makuha nato ang forma sa land. Then para makatabang ni siya para sa forest shrinking or new road being built. And then so now let's talk about how we actually do all this monitoring. So first is remote sensing and GIS mapping. Use of satellite imagery and geospatial tools to monitor land cover, changes, habitat fragmentation, and other large-scale environmental patterns. So in remote sensing is mag-need taan og satellite para makuha nato ang land cover, para mahibaw-an nato ang place ug unsay forma sa place. Then ang field survey and transect walk. On-ground method involving direct observation and measurements across predefined paths or plots to collect species and habitat data. This is the classic on-the-ground work. People walk along certain paths, observe nature, take notes, and measure things. It's direct and gives detailed info and other information. Then the last is camera trapping for wildlife monitoring. Development of motion-sensitive cameras to capture image and videos of elusive and nocturnal wildlife, enabling non-invasive monitoring of species presence and behavior. So, cameras with motion sensor are placed in the wild. They snap photo or videos when small animals pass by, especially useful for shy or nocturnal animals. It's a non-intrusive way to see what wildlife is around and how they behave. So in short, BAMS is like being a nature detective observing, recording, and protecting biodiversity using both high technology tools and community support. It helps us to understand nature better and take action to keep it safe for the future.
Good afternoon each and everyone, especially to our beloved instructor, Ma'am Charime Nomeron. Today I will discussing all about the application of environmental management. So there are three types of protecting environmental management. The first is tracking changes in species population, addressing protected area effectiveness, and providing specific pieces of policy tracking. So unsa din is si tracking changes in specific changes in specific population. So alright, this one is all about the all about keeping on eyes on the number of animals and plants on over time. Think like checking on how many turtles are left in the sea. Live in the beach on every year. If noticed that the number of going going down red flags, and we step early, going early to help. Maybe sometimes mga harming like pollution or illegal dumping, illegal hunting like trucking. This change, we can act before it's so late. So for me, tracking changes in specific population is ito yung mga species na murag ni other transport to other habitat because of the human activities. Hunt nila ang mga species like turtles or any kind of mga endangered na mga species like mga endangered mga animals is kailangan ginawa nila yung mga ginawa nila ang kanilang tungkulin para ma-mitigate ang climate change. Then addressing protected area effectiveness. Now protected area like natural parks or wildlife resources are places set aside to keep the nature safe, but just because that area is protected. Does it mean that it's actually going this job? This is where environmental management comes in to help us to measure on how well this area are naturally protected animals and plants. If the biodiversity inside a park is still growing, it will go still shrinking. Maybe we need to manage it better or provide more support. Then number 3 is providing the scientific basis for protecting for policy making. So this one is all about the going out leaders in decision makers, the factors that they needs, and when scientists collect data and environmental like forests or shrinkage or how population is affecting rivers, that information helps shape laws and programs. Instead just guessing what might work, may use in real scientists to decide how to protect the nature and prevent more damage. So this is my all the 3 types of application of environmental management in protected area. So that's all my report.